A very good morning to one and all present here. It is my honor to introduce you all to Dr. G. Venkatesh Rao as the guest speaker for our session today. Dr. G. Venkatesh Rao is a designated senior advocate by the Supreme Court of India, specializing in various branches of domestic and international law, constitutional, corporate, tax, and civil and criminal matters. He started his career at the Attorney General for India's office in 1986 and thereafter continued as a government counsel for about 20 years. He has been practicing in all courts of India as an independent counsel for about 31 years. He has been a counsel in several high-profile matters for Government of India, and he has appeared in thousands of cases related to tax, foreign exchange, the L&T takeover, the Harshad Mehta stock market scam, Union Carbide gas leak, etc. He was conferred the honorary professorship and has been visiting faculty in departments of law and political science and business and commerce at eminent educational and professional institutions such as Amity Business School, IIM Lucknow, Manipal University, Indian Society of International Law, Michigan University, etc., and has lectured in about 15 universities both in India and around the world. He has been an office bearer, both elected and appointed, of international organizations addressing UN bodies and conferences, notably as Vice President, Global Education Law Forum, Amsterdam, and Vice President, World Peace Congress, Bangkok. He has addressed numerous webinars and TV programs for various international and domestic channels like TRT, Turkish TV, UK TV, Indian Channel, BBC, Doordarshan, Times Now, and NewsX, India Ahead, ABP News, and Yandu TV, which is a Telugu TV channel. He is a life member and the recently elected Vice President of the prestigious Indian Society of International Law in November 2021. He has been a recipient of numerous national and international awards like GOPIO, Global People of Indian Origin Awards 2023, Green Ambassador Award 2023, Indo-Nepal Friendship Award 23, the Great Son of India Award 22, PM PV Narasimha Rao Foundation Centenary Award 22, Lex Falcon Global Awards Dubai 22, Pictale Global Influencer Award 21, Shining Star of Asia Award 21 by UN affiliates, Bharat Gaurav Award 2016, Protector of Democracy Award 2009, National Bar Award 2008, etc. He has published numerous articles, papers, and edited books. He is also a member of the International Council of Jurists, London. He has varied international qualifications, including LLD and DLED, from Commonwealth University, the London Graduate School, and Ashcroft University, London. He has been a Rhodes Ocean Scholar in Law of the Sea, Greece. He did his postgraduate studies in structuring and financing of foreign investment, Georgetown University, USA, and has also been a fellow of the Salzburg Global Seminar, Austria, 1990, in American Laws and Legal Institutions. I would now request Professor Rajeshwari Pandey, Dean UG, DTU, to kindly present a sapling as a token of respect to our eminent guest speaker. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you, sir. I would now request Professor Dr. G.V. Rao to kindly come on the podium and enlighten us with his experiences and light of words.
Good afternoon, all of you. Firstly, I must thank Professor Vijay Kumar and Madam for inviting me to address all of you. So therefore, just to begin with, I'm pretty much inspired as one of the largest gathering of young students that I've addressed in recent times. I've addressed universities in almost 20 countries and in India. And it's always been a joy for me. So I'm a practicing lawyer, and that's my main profession. I started as a lawyer, and I'm always a lawyer, and I enjoy talking and discussing things with young students like you. It's my way of giving back to this world, and it's my way of sharing some of my achievements. One of your professors read out a long list of them. I didn't expect her to read it out. It was just a brief glimpse, but I'm thankful that she did read it out, and I had forgotten most of what I had achieved. But I hope that inspires you in some way. Today my topic is cyber laws, and you're all engineers. I'm told you have 14 branches of engineering here, and so I'm sure all of you are top class. When I was in college in Delhi University, I went to Hindu College and I studied political science, and thereafter I did thereafter I did law, and then I specialized in various branches of international law in the US, in Georgetown University. I'm a Rhodes Ocean Scholar in the law of the sea. And I also specialized in laws relating to America, US, the US justice system and laws relating to that. So therefore, I have had the good fortune of studying in various parts of the world, and also lecturing and sharing things, and having been conferred professorship by universities like this for having regularly given visiting faculty lectures. My main used to be IIM Lucknow, a great institution. I enjoyed doing that in the younger days. These days I don't get so much time. And the Amity Business School, and the Indian Society of International Law, where I taught international law. So now, coming back to my subject, and you having varied background, and I'm sure all of you are tech savvy. All of you above 18? Yes. All right. So you're all adults, right? So all laws apply to you. All laws which we are talking about, the cyber laws, apply to you in the sense they apply to minors as well, but minors may get away with some lesser punishment, but adults above 18 will be treated like anybody else. So I want you to take this a bit more seriously, because you are young adults, but the law does not make too much distinction, and it's not sparing if you break the law. And talking about technology, interestingly, cyber laws and all, I learned working on the internet in Hong Kong. So I was one of those early people who caught up technology, because we have a home in Bangalore, and as you know, Bangalore is our hub, and it's the IT center of the world. It's IT capital, and it's what made India prosperous and big. So my own family members, I must tell you, my father-in-law was in the army, and he was in the engineering corps. It's called the Madras Sappers, and then later on he worked for the World Bank, again very specialized in technology, and he set up some of the earliest tech companies in Bangalore, which is something Professor Vijay Kumar and Madam and all may not know from my profile. This is a personal note which I am giving to you. And Mr. Narayan Murthy was his contemporary. So he brought in geographical information systems, GIS, into India. And he's upgraded all the telecommunication things with the DRDO, Defense Research and Development Organization. So the thing that I want to tell you first is the fantastic thing about technology, which has made India as a global power. Recently, I was at the Commonwealth Law University, conference, where 200 lawyers from all over the Commonwealth came to Goa, and I was talking to them. And I was telling them what technology has done to India. And what technology did was that I told them that, one of the topmost techies in our country is Mr. Narayan Murthy, and whose daughter is married to the Prime Minister of England. And she owns 0.95% shares of her papa's company. She owns 0.95% shares of her papa's company and is yet richer than the King of England. That's the magnificent power of technology which India is now home to. And so therefore all of you will, as engineering students, will be connected with technology, and you have a big responsibility on your shoulders, and you will contribute greatly in the field of technology, in the field of cyber, cyber world as such, in a big way. So the important thing is I will take you through all of the cyber laws that are applicable and the world of cyber laws we have created. Because of this, because we are leaders in technology, and some of you and all of you must be knowing that some of the, or almost all the tech companies in the world are manned by Indians. People like the Microsoft and the Google, the CEOs, Satya Nadella, he went to Hyderabad public school and now he's one of the topmost. And Sundar, who is from Chennai, he is leading the Google team. All of these people really are the leaders in the world. Tomorrow, some of you may occupy those positions. And that's the responsibility you will hold. You're holding. This morning, I read that there was a professor in Jalpaiguri, a small town. And some of you may come from various parts of the world. But he sort of put up this Twitter post or whatever and said, my students are now in Amazon and all of these places. So any person from any part of the world can actually reach to the top. You don't need to be from the IITs or any of that. People from Delhi College of Engineering, which is what it used to be called when I was in college and Delhi University, or DTU now, can reach anywhere. So the important thing that I'm trying to, of course, not only educate you slightly about the cyber law world, is also the responsibility that comes with doing what you're doing. And also I want to instill, very importantly, the love and respect for law. Because at the end of the day, I think you will reach the top by respecting law. Any person who's been trying to find shortcuts where if you are not either aware of the law or if you are breaking the law, then it will lead to difficulties, and especially in your profession, the cyber laws world is very important. So the law that governs all of cyber laws is from the Information Technology Act. We have an act of parliament which is called the Information Technology Act. And let me tell you, although technology is driving almost all spheres of life, the law is catching up with it as fast as the technology is developing. So therefore, the laws, now there are various areas of cyber laws which have caught up, and I don't know if some of you have had the opportunity to look at what all is available to you. Now, under the cyber laws, there are various sections for each of these things, and you know some of them broadly because everybody is tech savvy in the country. Need not necessarily be the engineering people. There's so much of cyber fraud, there's so much of phishing, all these kinds of things that are happening. But I will read out the relevant provisions to you, which actually now we have the Information Technology Act, the Information Technology Certifying Authority rules, and then we have Information Technology Security Procedure rules and Information Technology Certifying Authority regulations. So all of these things actually regulate the whole gamut of laws, and large numbers of you have turned up for this. So I guess some of this will really help for you. Of course, now the Indian Penal Code is the law that governs and regulates violation of all criminal activities. Now, most of all cyber laws which apply to you and which are violated are treated as criminal offences, and they have penalties ranging from 1 lakh to 1 crore. Imprisonment from 2 years to 10 years. And let me tell you that either for fun or for adventure or for being in a hasty mindset to make money, fast, like most people want to make it fast. There is no shortcut to success, and least of all breaking laws and trying to do things which are not good. And given the fact that you have penalties which go from 1 lakh to 1 crore plus and imprisonment from 2 years to 10 years, it's not worth doing things which can jeopardize a career. And let me tell you, anywhere if you've seen the fast way to success, whether it is, you've seen that FTX which has come down, all of you must be knowing that, and there's a lot of hanky-panky happening in the cryptocurrency world. So I would suggest that you try to be on the right side of law, whether in copyright violations. If you write anything these days, you can go through a site which will just check out if you've done plagiarizing. And if you look at things where people doing anything which is like breaking a law, I've seen. Let me give you an example of how the world works today. I have a client in Dubai, and he is a Finnish national, a national of Finland. He works for a Saudi company. He works for a Saudi company in Dubai. He is married to a Brazilian lady who does great work in compliances, in security compliances in cyber world. He made an investment in a Japanese company in Tokyo, resident in Tokyo, and purchased shares in an American company, IT shares in a tech company, and transferred money to Indonesia. And this is also a word of caution. Not only breaking of laws, be very cautious of the world, because you can lose money, you can lose a reputation, you can lose many things. So you not only when I'm talking about being cautious and about the laws, I'm also talking about being cautious in the world. Now, the banks where the money went is where I took them when they consulted me in Dubai, that you should go to Indonesia and file a case there. So I was engaged for going to Indonesia, and I filed the case against the banks. And first, the Interpol was notified in Dubai. Let me tell you, if any one of you thinks that there is something happening in another part of the world and you can just do whatever you can, there's no such thing anymore. There's no such thing anymore that you are sitting through the cyberspace and there's nobody going to connect with you. It's not. Within seconds, they can notify the police station or the concerned police there. Within seconds. The cell phones are lost. Somebody in Bhubaneswar has got it. The concerned police station will be notified. So I would like to tell you that the law has caught up with the cyber world, and I will read out all the various provisions which are important for you to know, so that you understand the gravity of how the law is taken up in every aspect of the cyber laws. So therefore, it is. I just gave you an example. The banks were on their knees. The criminal case is coming up, and they are going to pay the money that is lost, because the company which took the money from them, the Tokyo company, didn't exist. I've engaged lawyers in Tokyo who went and said that the company doesn't exist. And yet, but we could trace the money trail. we could see where it went. And those to whom the money was transferred are now going to pay for it. So everybody be beware of what they ought to be doing, because it's no longer the thing. The Interpol and governments have become very, very vigilant about cyber fraud and cyber laws. In our own way, I should have brought that. I'm sorry, I do have a PowerPoint presentation which I made on cyber laws in Dubai, but never mind. I could have brought that. It doesn't matter. I hope you're paying attention. Section 43 of the Information Technology Act. What does it say? Damage to a computer or a computer system, 1 crore of rupees. That's the fine. And imprisonment if the particular court. Section 43A, body corporate failure to protect data. If you don't protect the data, if you let it pass, if you're stealing data. Again, I have done numerous cases where employees have taken away data from their companies and vanished. They've been brought to book. Not today. I am in the profession for 35 long years in the Supreme Court. So I have been one of those who has been on top of all of this, activity. As I told you, I learned internet in Hong Kong. I bought my first cell phone in Hong Kong. I was always international because of my specialization. Section 44A, failure to furnish, document, return, report to the controller and certifying authority. If the certifying authority says, come show me something, come show me your computer, come anything, 1,50,000 rupees. If the man issues a notice to you. And there have been cases through IP addresses, through random cell phone, or CCTV, recording. People who violated the law have been caught. So therefore, this lecture for you, I'm glad they've invited me, and I have been on top of this area, and I will tell you more about it. Failure to file any return or furnish information, books, so that the certifying authority can call for it. They will send the police. They will track you. It's no longer, you are young people and you may have seen the world from your cell phones, Facebook, internet, Instagram, all these things. But the important thing to know and learn at this point of time, since you're all above 18, is to know that there is a surveillance that it goes on in terms of violation. Nobody has the right to violate privacy. Even you should not violate anybody's privacy. So now, failure to maintain books, again, they will put some thousands of rupees, where no penalty has been separately provided, 25,000 rupees. If there's no penalty for something that you have done. And the last thing you want people to complain, then tampering with computer source documents, imprisonment for 3 years, or with fine, which may extend to 2 lakhs of rupees. So the gravity of cyber offenses in today's world is very high. And as I just told you, don't be trapped by scams, cyber scams, and don't also do something in haste, or somebody misleading you, or somebody else saying that this is good, let's do some stock market manipulation, let's do some hacking. Don't do all those things. Hacking with computer systems and data alteration, imprisonment for a term which may extend 3 years, or with fine which may extend to 5 lakhs of rupees. Now, that's not worth it at all. And let me tell you a criminal case in India. I have a friend who went to IIT Kanpur, who did a copyright violation case when he wrote some of the best. He's one of the best minds in computer data, and one of the earliest in India from IIT Kanpur. And he filed a case against somebody who did a copyright violation 20 years ago. He harassed the hell out of the other guy by filing this criminal case, but it went on for 25 years. Both civil and criminal. Is the worst harassment you can ever have. Is even if you don't go to jail, just going to the court and attending, chasing lawyers is not worth it. I would recommend young students like you should be the future. You should be occupying the positions of those guys who were sitting there on top of those things. Okay. Now, sending offensive messages through communication service. Imprisonment for a term which may extend to 3 years. So, as young people, you want to exchange fun things and all that, but, you better be careful. If somebody who doesn't like it, then you will have problems, because it's unsparing. Nobody wants to allow this to happen anywhere. So, it's fun. As youngsters, when I was young, I did fun things. But the day I became a lawyer, I didn't want to do anything which would be a violation of law. I said, here is my career. If I do anything which can invite trouble, it will be a blot. When you go to get your passport made, there's a column, is any criminal case pending against you? You won't be able to travel abroad. They will harass you. They will not get you a passport. Similarly, when you go for a visa application, some of you may have dreams of going all over the world doing things. So, then retains any stolen computer source or communication device. Their imprisonment which may go to 3 years, fine which may go to 1 lakh, or both. Fraudulent use of electronic signature. Don't use other people's computers to do anything. Even, recently there are cases which I'll be able to look at it and just tell you, where you use somebody else's account, Facebook account, because you have the password. Or you have a girlfriend who gives you the password and then you do it. Later on you're in trouble. So, it's best to keep on the right side of law. Some of you can read this. I personally believe that the IQ level of an engineering student is higher than an IQ level of a social science student. I'm sure what you can do this, but it can't be the other way around. So you can even look at it, just to get a glimpse, understand the Information Technology Act. Okay? So don't use people's electronic signature, don't go into their account. Cheating by personing using the computer. Some people create fake IDs. Creating fake IDs for fun's sake, whatever. Not worth it at all. Again, imprisonment for a term 3 years and for 1 lakh, etc. Publishing obscene messages. Publishing, there was, even these days, of course, it can be carried to an illogical limit. Like somebody put up a cartoon or something saying that some politician is this, that and the other. Or, constructive criticism is welcome. You can't go and write somebody's father and mother is suspect and, whether he's born of the same parent. You can't challenge people's parentage and, use the MCBC language and on the social media and etc. Yeah, I'm telling you, don't do it. Be civil, be decent. You want to make it up. Let me tell you, no person who has not been on the right civilized way has been able to rise. You're top class, you're cream. I don't want any one of you to do anything which can cause a problem. You should remain that way, all the way till as much as you can do. Some of you will go to the armed forces, some of you may join the civil services, some of you may join the police, so on and so forth. But at some point, if there is a blot on your career, something, it is always there. So be careful about that. Publishes, transmits unwanted. I have a lady who came to me the other day. She's from Israel. She's a little hostile. You know how the Israeli people, they are having difficulties with their neighboring countries. So she came and she was very angry with the builder. And she said, that man didn't give me the right apartment. She was married to an Indian guy in Bangalore. And he's had so many defects. And I was surprised that she could even find 287 defects in a property that she was trying to buy. And what she did? She took pictures of something and made videos and said, oh, these builders are the worst in the world, don't buy their blah, blah, blah. They filed a criminal defamation in the courts and there's a warrant against her. And she's coming to me all the way from Bangalore to Delhi to find some top lawyer who can advise her. And that won't go away. The things that the criminal administration system that sort of puts into motion doesn't go away easily. Unfortunately, we have some kind of effective legal system, justice administrative system, but it is not 100% effective in the sense that they don't go away, they are there. They are deterrent. Once a person is there, he is made to come, he is made to run around, he is made to give evidence, he is made to leave take leave and go to this thing. So she did all those stuff. So that doesn't work. You can't do defamation, criminal defamation and put it on the social media. Right? So even if you think this is this thing that I paid for this, I paid 50 lakhs for this and this guy's given me a bad product, but then you have to take the legal recourse if at all. You can't resort to something even if it is genuine in defamation, because that guy may haul you up and at the end of 2 years, 5 years, it may be possible that but then the harassment is not worth it, because your way of proceeding to the law is the way you should go about doing it. It's not that you take the law into your hands. You can't take a bat and go to the guy's house. Coming away from cyber laws, let's believe somebody cheated you. And if you took a bat and went and assaulted the guy because he cheated you, you will still be hauled up for criminal assault. You can't say the guy cheated me, I hit him with a bat. No. So I am trying to instill in this short time, some understanding of how the law works and how you should try to remain and work in accordance with law. And be careful of it, be mindful of it, right? Then publishers or transmit sexually explicit material, imprisonment which may extend for 5 years. And young people are there, they want to, just have fun and do things. But then it has to be private if you just put it on the social medium and it goes viral. Let me give you a case, a very interesting case, one of the earliest cases. There were 2 students in DPS Mathura Road in Delhi. DPS Mathura Road is one of the premier schools of Delhi. Considered one of the best, where students do good work and they excel. So there was a video clip created between the boy and the girl. Now that got circulated through just, the best thing, how things were spread? Oh, don't send it to anybody. Don't share it with anybody. Keep it with you. So that guy sends it to anybody. Don't share it with anybody. Don't give it. It goes to every bird. Every person is telling the other person, don't share it with anybody, and it's just going on and on. So it went around, that video clip. And that video clip, which was where found young people in a compromising position, etc. And there was, in those days, I don't know if it's still there, one of those e-commerce sites called Bazi.com. So Bazi.com, somebody thought, let me make some money out of this. It's a nice video clip. People like to see voyeurism. And porn sites make the highest amount of money. But they are tracked. They do all kinds of things. It's not easy. It's not a happy thing to do to go to porn sites, because they do all kinds of things there. They can try to blackmail you, anything, you never know. But so somebody decided to make some money out of that video clip, and they put it up on on Bazi.com for sale, some 500 rupees, something. So somebody came, the parents of the girl and the boy, they came to know that this video clip has gone, and they could make out the faces and all. And they filed a police complaint. Although they may have done whatever which is objectionable in a private sense, not in a public way. But if you do that in public, it's the violation. So what the police did, the chairman of Bazi.com sits in Mumbai. He is an ex-Harvard graduate. They went and arrested the guy who was sitting in Mumbai, Mr. Bajaj, Avinash Bajaj, I think it was his name, a Harvard graduate, and brought him to Delhi and put him inside the prison. Completely nothing to do with that. I mean, the law is an ass, they say many times. Many times you are in the wrong. You are lucky to get out. I'll tell you about an incident yesterday. Somebody came to me. So Avinash Bajaj was arrested and he was inside the jail for 10 days, 12 days. Bazi.com doesn't have anything to do with the content. You join it and you just can put your content for sale. That's how Bazi.com, the e-auction sites used to function. So now he can't get out of jail. He's an ex-Harvard guy, big time. And it is a wing of something in the US, the same e-commerce site. So he called the Secretary of State of the US, who was a Harvard graduate herself, Condoleezza Rice. The Harvard network connected to the Secretary of the State in US, Condoleezza Rice. And it was Condoleezza Rice who called the Indian Prime Minister and said, release that gentleman. Can you believe it? What a simple, stupid, at my age, anybody in my this thing will say this is some silly youngsters doing some pranks in their school, resulted in a global diplomatic flurry, and the most powerful nation's foreign minister is calling our Prime Minister's office and foreign minister and saying, why have you put this gentleman in jail? What did he have to do with it? So things can go wrong, anything can happen. Sometimes many innocent people. I had one guy from Bangalore, he said, I was lured by some lady. I was tempted. And I did some funny things. And now she's blackmailing me. I've already paid several lakhs of rupees. I don't know what to do. So we tried to get him out of trouble because, well, in his foolishness, he was lured on the internet to, do things which were not good. And therefore, abusing children online, again 5 years and 10 lakhs of rupees, prevention of, and then so on and so forth. So you see these kind of things, breach of confidentiality and privacy, again 2 years, disclosure of information and breach of contract, publishing false digital signatures. So I think anybody, anywhere, I think, many times people may just want to look at something, you sign a contract also, digital e-sign contract, you have to be careful about that. You see? So all of these things sort of invite trouble, and there is mechanism in the world, not so much 5 years ago, not so much 10 years ago, where, the law was not so up to date, but some of you, chaps like you, techies, go and they sit in the government and they will draft law for the government, because you can be on any side. So it's not like the government is made of only just some bureaucrats and other things. They also know how to run the show. So it's this is the long and short of the cyber crime and creation of even false identities. Suppose you create some false, you make a Facebook this thing and you change, they will track you. And they have mechanisms for that. The government is very powerful, let me tell you this, in one sense, because they have all the money in the world. And they hire techies like you guys, and they will pay and say, look, I want the law to be enforced. I don't want mischief, rubbish, nonsense going on in the country. It's my job to look after the thing. And that's how government functions. That's how law functions. Ask me. I'm in the courts every day. I know what happens. So any of these intellectual property violations. Now, given the situation, defamation, it's not good to do that. It should be, if you have problems, you have to sort it out nicely, and you don't want people to talk about it, and you don't want, and even in the comments that you make on the internet when you are, commenting about something that even, do you know, it's a sad thing that, these days things are, we are communally charged environment. And if you feel X community has gone wrong and done something against Y community, okay, I think youngsters like you should concentrate on studies rather than looking at political and communal issues and say this is wrong, that is wrong, that guy is wrong, this guy is wrong, and this is bad and that is bad. Because you won't know the consequences, you won't know how the thing pans out. And so somebody gets angry about it and he goes and he is attacked. Life is in danger. So therefore, even when you're talking about and communally charged atmosphere where it troubles you, it troubles me. I mean, I'm an old man, it troubles me when I see bad things happen, communal violence. But you should restrain yourselves in terms of being a little more mature in terms of reacting through these things. Not very long ago, it's my memory is good probably, I would be sitting on that side and I heard many people like me speak there. And I was happy to learn a lot of things. And the advantage of, having somebody like me is just experience. Lose all our hair and we know what is going on and we know how the world moves. So therefore, that's the thing about cyber laws, which I think you should know and you should look more into it, because it's important. You want to deal with it in any way, and you should be cautious at the same time, not getting involved in scams. I just give you an example. You know how much the man in Indonesia lost, which is yet to come? More than 2.5 crores, almost 3 crores. He's a rich man, of course. He works for a Saudi oil company. But even for him, losing the kind of money of 3 crores in investing to buy tech shares in an American company, which is all rosy picture. And today, the AI is doing freaky things. It's impersonating people's voices. It's impersonating, again, fake news. There's going to be a law in fake news in Karnataka. And fake news is the biggest, people become a victim of fake news. You can make the president of the US, appear to be talking something, singing something. You can't make out whether it's true or false. So you even have fake news, and some of them are done so intelligently that you can get carried away by it, and you say, okay, this is being said by the head of state, this is being said by some great man, why don't I share it? Be circumspect. I don't want to make you coward. I want you to be intelligent, alert, informed. This is not a lecture to tell you that you should always be shivering about everything. No, it's hard to become smart, because the consequences can be grave in something that you do casually. Please understand, that's the message that I have for you. So, interesting part also, which technology close to my heart, because I was dealing with tech companies. Like I told you, my wife's father was a pioneer in technology. I used to go and manage financial aspects and business aspects of those tech companies in Singapore. We had an office and a home in Singapore for a year in the 90s. And there was no cell phone, there was no internet, and the phones used to be rotary phones. Krrring, krrring, it's just to take that way. And to dial a number would take you about almost a minute. You guys have speed dialing today. We didn't have any of those things. I've seen it transcend. It's a great time to see all of that happen in India. And you must be in touch with what has happened in Bangladesh. In fact, I do remember my father was the Secretary of Law in the government of India. He went and he negotiated the transfer of technology agreements in the mid-80s, late 80s with the US. And that's how we got technology into, supercomputers and all came into India. And I saw how technology transformed the landscape. Our whole strength of our nation, the backbone is technology. We've done, the UPI payments. It's phenomenal. Absolutely none. They didn't exist 5-7 years ago. What you kids can do on your Google Pay and Paytm, which fortunately I've also learned. I'm tech savvy. I'm happy to do that. But those things didn't exist earlier. And you better be careful. Money is lost. If you by any chance put the wrong cell phone number and it goes to somebody else, you'll take forever for that money to come back. The flip side of it, if you don't do wrong, we shouldn't be wronged also. So you got to be careful about that. So in that during those times, there were only 1 or 2 cars in India that were manufactured. My college days, just 2 cars. One was called an Ambassador. I know some of you must be seeing that Khatara moving around, Ambassador. And was called a Fiat. That's it. And there used to be only one airline. One airline. Many times I had to stand in a queue in the morning at 5 o'clock and say, please give me a ticket. I've got some terrible emergency. Let me go on this flight. Today, you go morning, evening, afternoon, you can fly to any place. So this kind of fantastic advantage that you have must be used, put to positive use, and make you better people. You're the creme de la creme, as I said. Don't be bothered if you didn't get an IIT. You may do better than that. If you do the right things, if you're inspired by the right things, if you're, you learn things. This is the age for you to learn anything. The way I learnt everything was by myself. I hated asking anybody for anything. Another important secret I'm telling you, for those who can learn by themselves. Not all 5 fingers are the same, but the best of you can learn and do anything but the way you want. Now, our next, I want to go to gender sensitivity, and I want to tell you a very interesting thing. I went to a co-ed school in Delhi. It was called Army Public School. I went to Army Public School. And right from day one, most of my teachers in Army Public School were women. I think one PT physical instruction teacher was a gentleman, of course, because he had to have a stick and go after the boys for behaving badly, or tell them how to be fit in this thing and play the games or horse riding or whatever it is, and some maths teacher, but that's all. Out of the 6, 7 teachers, only 1 or 2 were men. All were women. So we always treated our classmates who were girls with great respect. We were taught that. You may be coming from varied backgrounds. We can't have a feudal, but you must be brilliant, so you will learn. If you don't learn, some people, some states, all states, a little rural background, they say, oh, the lady with a ghungat, and she must do this, and she must only serve the water to the guests and all this. This is rubbish. The whole aspect of today's world. Let me tell you one thing, and that's amazing. And I'll tell you a couple of other also. The one who, ChatGPT, of course, it's the latest, the rage of the world, is designed by a woman. It's the next level of computing, robotics, etc. Now, in leading team, one of our satellite communications head and launching of our rockets and all is a woman. I met her, Tessie Thomas. I was a co-awardee. I got that Gopio award. One of our teachers read that Gopio award. I and Tessie Thomas from Bangalore, who heads our satellite launches and our rocket systems, is a woman. So I think it's very important that you must know how we should interact with our classmates and colleagues who are women. And similarly, laws of gender, many times you don't know, you're young, but many times when things go wrong, women will make 5 allegations and file a case against the young man and that man will have going in circles. I recently wrote a foreword to a book written by my friend in Pune. It is called The Harassed Husbands of India. I'm telling you. It's called The Harassed Husbands of India, and women have filed all kinds of cases against the men and their parents and all of them. It's a nightmare. So don't mess around with women. Help them. If it works, it works. Try to have a relationship which is modern. Try to look at modern way of dealing with your women colleagues. And similarly, the women must be careful because, things go wrong. They are also in the limelight. And many of them feel embarrassed that this has happened and these things. And then not only must you have respect for women who have done phenomenal contribution to this country, and as a society, you must teach others, fellow colleagues. You must be able to inculcate and imbibe that kind of thing in everybody, whichever organization you must give. You must not tolerate any indecent behavior towards women colleagues or subordinates or workers. That's gender sensitization, that's very important. And that feudal mindset which we have had in our country is to be gone. So I went to a co-ed school and I learned that from day one. And some of you may not be that fortunate, or some of you may not have paid that much attention to it, but please do that. Because generally the laws in India are loaded in favor of women. And let me tell you another personal belief of mine, you may not like it. I think women are more efficient and competent than men, in general. So I'm sorry if any of you are offended about that, but this is by statistics, that those who have worked. And let me tell you another very interesting story, personal story. There used to be a girl in my class in Army Public School. So she used to be like sitting somewhere at the back there. I was pretty much, I used to do plays. I was pretty much popular in my school. I used to do plays, I used to do all kinds of things there. I was a leader of sorts. And she was rather quiet. But because of the very nature of the way I was trained, I would deal with them with great respect. So some of my friends used to make fun, and they were just making fun of all the girls and this, that, and the other, and they was doing it to that. And I would say, no, don't do all those things, just in good jest. Not that I was like serious about it, but say, no, don't embarrass her, don't embrace her. Like, I was just do fun with her. So anyway, well, it turned out to be she was a bright lady, which I didn't believe in those days. I was just respectful, right? And she never talked to anybody. I don't think she made too many friends. She may have had one or two friends in the... Now, the fascinating part of that is, I chose to be a lawyer, and she chose to join the civil service. She sort of topped it. You had to crack it. It's the civil service, or your exams can't be just ki I'm an engineer ban jaunga, I'll go and sit in IIT Delhi or Delhi College of Engineering or Delhi DTU. You have to crack it. And she topped the civil service and became the IFS, Foreign Service. Today, she sits in the United Nations Security Council. Can you imagine what that means? She's brushing shoulders with heads of state of all 180 countries or 92 countries in the world. Presidents and prime ministers all the time. So please be mindful of your colleagues in your class, or the seniors, women, junior. Do not have disparaging attitude, because they are as competent, perhaps more. I've just given you an example of my own classmate. I don't do as much responsible work as she does. She was seen with the Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister recently. Look her up, Ruchira Kamboj. So these are the things that I wanted to tell. And of course, the women's laws, there are a lot of things about, sexual harassment. There are things about basically, ill treatment or, abusive or innuendo. In every company, they have a sexual harassment, body which sort of monitors all these things. So you want to be upstanding and perfect citizens, gentlemen with women. Learn the new techniques if you're not aware of it, as to how to interact with your women colleagues, your friends. It's not necessarily that, none of my classmates married our classmates. The women immediately after finishing their education got married to guys who are well settled. So it's rare that it happens. Don't have fancy notions. Learn from older people, but essentially don't have, be realistic, be practical, learn. You're the people who are like the best in the, I'm sure when you go and tell people where you are, they say, oh wow, good. These guys are top guys in their field. So you can learn. And I told you another secret. All that I have learned even during my school and later, is all I've learned it myself. So you can all learn many, many more things than what it teaches you. Of course, it doesn't. But the busiest man in the world has time for everything. Satya Nadella went to DPS Hyderabad. Now he's sitting on the Microsoft, and that Sundar Pichai was in Chennai from one room tenement rather humble beginnings. Never be apologetic about your humble beginnings. In fact, those from humble beginnings only rise the highest. It's generally a rule. Those from royal backgrounds suffer from some kind of, wealth or privilege. It's a suffering. It may come in your way. It may be an impediment to your growth. Your royal background, your affluent background. You see? But therefore, it's so these in between cyber laws and gender sensitization, I think we have covered some of the most important things of today's world. If you are able to mind your P's and Q's in these two areas, I think sky is the limit where you can reach. So, of course, I had my iPad. I'm pretty much just getting quite familiar with it. And I've made some notes about what else I want to talk to you. So, don't break the law. Be mindful of it. Look up, read, understand, be careful. And especially, where you want to try out new things. Especially you want to, I have lost quite a bit of money trying to buy things on the internet. Things never came. So I decided I must only buy from Amazon. And if you want to go after them, there's a problem. Especially if you're doing it, it would be a civil wrong, where somebody takes your money and doesn't pay. It's not a criminal offense. You can go to a consumer protection court. But you will spend 10 times or 50 times that amount in pursuing that in a consumer protection court, so you would have lost that small money. I recently did a case in demonetization. So, as I said, I am a counsel for Gopio, and these people are there all over the world. And each one of them had 20,000, 50,000, 30,000 money cash. And the government gave a cut-off date and said, you can exchange it in between this time, otherwise, sorry. And I said, am I going to spend 2 lakhs to come and exchange 25,000 rupees here? Is it going to be worth it for me? Why should you have a cut-off date? That is unlawful. Well, the court had their own reasons to not appreciate my part of the argument, because I wasn't challenging the whole demonetization, but I was challenging that bit where I said the time was not enough for anybody to exchange their notes. But they lost, all of them lost their money. I had attached 500 small notes which they made, emails and all of these people, just 500 as a number of 25,000, 50,000, 30,000. I lost. And the law was stupid. They said, come by June and exchange it. They didn't have anything overseas, and everybody lost. So therefore, if you do something which you think, all right, I'm spending some money to buy something, sometimes a little more expensive, to pursue that is a big problem, because that is in the realm of, civil wrong, not a criminal offense. Where it is a criminal offense, where you're doing hacking, where you're doing, impersonation, where you're doing defamation, all these things become criminal wrongs. Insofar as product that you purchase and you don't get the product, I recently ordered some chest of drawers on IKEA. I don't know if it was a phishing thing that the guy made an IKEA site, because when I go to the IKEA site and put the chest of drawers number, it says wrong. So I'm fearing I've lost that money, because somebody created some kind of a phishing thing for IKEA and says, all right, you can buy this product, it's cheap. So therefore, caution, discretion is the better part of valor. You are discreet in your affairs, in your ways, and you are mindful and respectful towards the law and, of course, women colleagues and other things. That's very, very crucial. And as I said, I just give you an example of what your female colleague can do. She may be quiet, she may not be talking to anybody, and you think you can make fun or whatever. Absolutely wrong. Today, she's my friend who is sitting on the top of the world there. She connected, she remembered that I was nice to her. And then when I went to Paris, she was our ambassador in UNESCO, and she sort of invited me, met with me, and we still remain connected, and and we have common friends and things like that. Just sheer respect, did nothing. And mind you, not apart from the respect fact of the matter is that she was exceptionally brilliant, which nobody discovered. And in that whole class, I think I'm the only one who's sort of connected with her, nobody else. I didn't even talk to her even once that time. I was just being nice. And she, look where she is. So therefore, I think this is a very important example. Well, you see, generally, let me tell you one thing, that the police authorities, if they have to hack into somebody's computer system or phone, they have to get permission from the top authorities. It's all done in writing. They will say, we suspect this man of doing these things. And sometimes some of those fellows may do it just like that. That's another matter. But by and large, it's supposed to be a responsible affair. If suppose a person vested with that authority, a police or otherwise, goes and hacks somebody's phone for fun, takes out his images without any authorization, that fellow will be liable. He'll lose his job. He will be suspended and he'll lose his job. So it's not that they go on a fishing inquiry, let me just check out somebody's phone, let me check out this lawyer's phone. No, it's not like that. There's an authorization all the way DCP upwards. Many times tapping and all is authorized by Union Home Secretary. It's a very, very difficult process for anybody to do that. But what happens actually, let me tell you, the thing to fear is that without the knowledge of the higher authorities, the fellow who to impress his bosses, he will go and tap and catch the criminal. But by and large, people in offices do not misuse that power to harass somebody, then they will lose their job. If they just go and tap somebody's phone or a computer and just for fun do it, there has to be a reason. Suppose a fellow goes and does, and that man complains that I find my phone is being tapped, my computer is being tapped, and makes a complaint. Then the man will be hauled up. Why did you go and take out that data? And he'll have to say he's an accused in this case. Then he'll say you didn't take permission. Even then he would be an actor. But if there is no such thing against him and he's just going and doing it, he will lose his job. He can't do it. It's not, and they don't waste their time just doing all these. By and large, it's only an exception. Exceptions don't make the rule.
I'm sure that our students have gained a lot of knowledge about cybersecurity and the different laws operating within the domain, along with an idea of how to lead their own lives righteously and mindfully. It has been wonderful to hear you, sir. I would now request Professor T. Vijay Kumar to felicitate our guest, Dr. G.V. Rao, with a token of appreciation from DTU. Please special with your presence in DTU. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to all the students for being such a wonderful audience and for engaging with our guest speaker in a lovely way.